What is discipline? Now, there are many people who would have you believe that training in the gym 7 days a week is discipline. It will give you discipline and mental strength. There's a multitude of content on YouTube saying this exact same thing. There's some truth to this. In the beginning, when you're stepping outside your comfort zone, you're not used to training, your body's not used to receiving the extra workload. There's an element of discipline to keep you going in the beginning. Afterwards, when you've established a habit of going to the gym on a regular basis, you are just maintaining a habit. No real discipline is required. Then there's the opinion that doing something that you don't feel like doing is real discipline. Going to the gym when you really don't feel like it. Now, I've been training for 27 years and there have literally been probably more than 1,000 days or more in that time where I don't feel like going. Is it discipline to keep going? Now, not really, because you end up going anyway because it's an established habit. And then you find after 10 minutes, you get into the flow, the zone, and no more discipline is required. It's minute discipline. Take this another way. I don't feel like going shopping today, but I've got to because my cupboards are empty. Is that discipline? No. I don't feel like going to work today, and many of you will have experienced this at numerous times in your life. Is it discipline because you go anyway? No. Discipline is a mental state. Yes, it can apply to physical tasks, but ultimately it's a mental state that's been permanently ingrained into your subconscious mind. Now, let's take this a little further into context. I've travelled and volunteered in hostile environments in the past. The first period that I did this, I had some very bad experiences. I ended up with PTSD. I recovered from that PTSD. I battled through it. It took a long time to battle my way through it. I had to show up every day and keep at it. Then later in life, about 6 years ago, I went back for more. I volunteered again, knowing that the first time round, this was a bad experience and that I ended up with PTSD from my efforts. Is this discipline? It's more discipline than going to the gym. The gym's this much. It's more discipline, but it's not discipline. Not really. Now, I know a guy who came back from the first Iraq war, lost both of his legs. He sunk into a depression rather quickly, started drinking every day, was feeling sorry for himself. But we got him one day, we poured all of his alcohol down the sink. We got him down to this clinic where he had to turn up every day to this clinic. It was fucking painful. And he had to learn to walk on prosthetic limbs. It took more than a fucking year, but he got there in the end. He had to keep showing up every day. He didn't feel like it. This required more discipline because it was literally painful. Now, he got through all of that suffering and that disheartenment, but he can now walk. So is he disciplined? No, because it's now an established habit. He's used to doing it. Now, what is real discipline then? Now, I've got an example to show you, and this is a real life example. In 1963, a Buddhist monk went to a busy intersection in Saigon in Vietnam, and to protest against the government's treatment of Buddhists, the communist regime in Vietnam, he soaked himself in petrol, sat down in a cross-legged meditation position and slowly burned to death. He ignited the petrol and slowly burned to death. Here is that guy. His name is Thich Quang Duc. That is discipline. You know you're going to die. You know that this is the end, yet you've shown up to do it anyway. That is doing something that you don't really feel like doing. That is real discipline. So try this. Let's see how disciplined you really are. For the next 10 minutes, sit down without moving a single muscle, without even swallowing, without blinking your eyes, and not a single thought entering your mind. For 10 whole minutes. Can you do this? Well, that's nearer to discipline. And it's certainly a much greater distance than merely showing up to the gym 7 days a week. Now, take that a bit further. What about doing that for a whole hour or all day? That's discipline. So when you hear people telling you online what discipline is and mental strength is, take it with a pinch of salt, because it's a lot more than just showing up to the gym 7 days a week. It's a mental state that has to be earned through persistence and hard work. If you want to see truth in all things and all things in the truth, subscribe to this channel and follow this series for more.